This video is about she went to the music festival and a rich stranger started a conversation. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the sprawling festival grounds of the Music Festival of Echoes. Leela pushed back a strand of auburn hair that had escaped the loose braid at the nape of her neck. She inhaled deeply, a mix of fresh grass and sweet kettle corn filling her senses. This was her escape, a chance to leave her ordinary life behind for a weekend steeped in music and laughter. As she wandered through the maze of colorful tents, her heart raced at the sound of a distant guitar strumming a familiar tune. The air buzzed with the excitement of festival goers, each person a thread in the vibrant tapestry of the event. Leela had come alone, a decision both liberating and intimidating. Her friends had plans, and she had decided that solitude would not be her enemy, it would be her companion, guiding her through this epic summer spectacle. "Hey, you have to try this." A voice broke through her thoughts, pulling her from her reverie. A young woman, with bright turquoise hair and a sun-kissed smile, waved energetically from a booth adorned with colorful banners. "Is it food?" Leela asked, her stomach grumbling at the thought of the eclectic array of festival cuisine. "Of course, it is a fusion taco with mango salsa," the woman said, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Trust me, you won't regret it." Leela grinned, her apprehension melting away. "All right, you've convinced me." As she approached the booth, the tantalizing aroma wrapped around her. She exchanged a few dollars for the taco, savoring the burst of flavor with each bite, laughter bubbling up as the woman animatedly shared stories of past festivals. "Leela?" The name was a sudden whisper, unexpected and thrilling. She turned, her heart skipping a beat at the sight of a tall man leaning against a nearby food truck. He had tousled dark hair and piercing blue eyes that seemed to catch the light in an otherworldly way. "Sorry to interrupt," he said with a charming smile, stepping forward, the air shifting around them. "I couldn't help but notice your intense focus on that taco. It is a good one, right?" Leela's cheeks warmed, and she nodded, a smile breaking across her face. "It is incredible. I think I might have found my new favorite food." "I am Alex," he introduced himself, extending a hand. His grip was firm yet gentle, a subtle contrast to his confident demeanor. Leela felt a spark of connection, a current that ran deeper than mere attraction. "Nice to meet you, Alex. I am Leela," she replied, her voice unexpectedly soft. His eyes twinkled mischievously. "So, are you here alone? That takes guts." "Yeah, I guess it does," she admitted, her gaze flickering to the ground for a moment. "My friends bailed, but I am determined to make the most of it." "Good for you," he said, leaning in slightly, the chemistry palpable. "Do you want to join me? I was just about to check out the next stage." Leela hesitated, her inner voice whispering doubts. She didn't know this man, and yet there was an undeniable allure about him. "Sure, I do love that," she said at last, her curiosity outweighing her caution. As they walked together, a comfortable silence enveloped them, punctuated by the distant sounds of music blending into a melodic symphony. The crowd surged around them, yet in this moment it felt as if they existed in a world apart. "So, what do you do when you're not indulging in tacos at a festival?" Alex asked, glancing sideways at her, his tone playful. "I am a graphic designer," Leela replied, warmth blooming at the thought of sharing her passion. "I create marketing materials for small businesses that is rewarding, but can be a little isolating sometimes." "That sounds fascinating," he said genuinely. "I bet you have an artistic eye." His compliment made her heart flutter, and she couldn't help but feel a spark of pride. "And you, what is your story?" she inquired, eager to learn more about this intriguing stranger. "I run a tech startup," he said, his expression shifting slightly. "It is busy work, but it is rewarding. I love creating something from scratch." "Well, that sounds like a lot of pressure," Leela said, raising an eyebrow as she studied him. "How do you balance it?" Alex chuckled, a hint of vulnerability creeping into his voice. "Honestly, I am still working on that. I tend to throw myself into my work, sometimes a little too much." "Don't we all?" she replied, her expression softening as she sensed the weight behind his words. "Life can get pretty hectic." They reached the stage, a vibrant crowd swaying to the rhythm of the band. Leela felt the music pulse through her, igniting her spirit. She turned to Alex, caught in a moment of shared excitement, and suddenly the world around them faded into a blur. "Leela, can I ask you something?" His voice was low, almost serious, yet laced with an underlying playfulness. "Sure," she replied, intrigued. "What is the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?" His gaze held hers, as if he were searching for something beyond the surface. Leela bit her lip, an amused smile playing on her face. I once got on a train to a city I'd never been to. Just because I felt like it, I ended up getting lost but found an amazing little calf. That sounds thrilling and scary too. He laughed to sound deep and inviting. I admire that kind of courage. Courage? She raised an eyebrow, feeling a flutter of self-doubt. Sometimes I think it is just a lack of planning. Sometimes the best adventures begin with a bit of chaos, he said, his seriousness contrasting with the lightness of the festival ambience. You just have to embrace the unknown. Their eyes locked, and in an instant, Leela felt an intense connection that she couldn't quite place. A flutter of uncertainty tinged the edges of her thoughts. Could someone like Alex truly be interested in a small town girl like her? Before she could delve deeper into her doubts, the band transitioned into a softer, more melodic song. Alex stepped closer, the space between them narrowing. Would you like to dance? Here? Leela laughed softly, feeling a thrill at the suggestion. Why not? He challenged, his eyes sparkling with mischief. It is a festival, the music is calling. With a hesitant nod, she took his hand, feeling an electric jolt as he guided her into the crowd. Leela was surprised by how easily they fell into rhythm, their movements syncopating with the soft strums of the guitar. As they swayed, the world around them blurred into insignificance. It felt as if they were two souls dancing to the same heartbeat, surrounded by a universe that held only them. You dance beautifully, you know, Alex whispered, leaning closer. Their bodies brushed against each other, heightening the warmth that spread through Leela's chest. Thanks, she replied, her breath hitching slightly as his gaze lingered on her lips. The tension between them was palpable, threading through the air like an unspoken promise. The moment was electric, yet in the back of Leela's mind, insecurities tugged at her conscience. Was she reading too much into this? Was he simply being friendly, or was there something deeper beneath his words? Just as she began to lose herself in the moment, a familiar voice cut through the ambience. Leela, is that you? Leela's heart dropped at the sound of her friend Claire. She turned to see Claire, a whirlwind of energy and spark, rushing toward them, her eyes wide with surprise. Wow, I didn't know you were coming, Claire exclaimed, glancing between Leela and Alex. Who is your friend? This is Alex, Leela introduced, her cheeks flushing. We just met. Nice to meet you, Claire said, extending a hand, but her eyes sparkled with curiosity as she assessed the situation. Leela felt a mix of irritation and relief at the interruption, unsure of how to navigate this sudden shift in energy. Likewise, Alex replied, his cool demeanor unwavering. Leela appreciated his confidence, yet a twinge of jealousy crept in as Claire engaged him in light banter. Leela stepped back, fighting an urge to pull away from the growing tension. This was supposed to be a fun escape, but now she felt exposed, like a delicate glass figurine on display. Are you having fun? Claire asked innocently, her gaze flickering between them. Yeah, it has been great, Leela replied, forcing a smile. But her heart felt heavy with the weight of unspoken words and unformed connections. Good, you should join us at the front. The next band is supposed to be legendary. Claire's excitement was infectious, but Leela felt a tug of hesitation. Maybe later, Leela said, her voice uncertain as she glanced at Alex, who still held a relaxed smile despite the interruption. Sounds like a plan, he said, his presence grounding her amidst the chaos. As the music from the stage pulsed through her, the vibrant energy around Leela felt electric, yet the happiness she had experienced with Alex moments ago faded into a confused backdrop. Claire's presence complicated the moment, her excitement weaving a thread of tension between the three of them. I can't believe you were here without anyone, Claire exclaimed, oblivious to Leela's inner turmoil. What a bold move. Leela forced a smile, struggling to maintain her composure. Yeah, I figured a little adventure wouldn't hurt. And look where it led you, Claire teased. Her eyes sparkled as they flicked between Leela and Alex, picking up on the unspoken chemistry. Right, adventure finds its own way, Alex chimed in, his voice steady and warm, as if he were fully aware of the dynamic shift yet unfazed by it. Leela marveled at his poise. Was he genuinely unaffected by Claire's presence, or was he simply better at masking his discomfort? The uncertainty gnawed at her. Are you and Leela going to continue dancing? Claire said, a playful lilt in her voice. Because I'll definitely join you. I love this song. Maybe just a minute more, Leela said, glancing at Alex. The momentary connection they had created felt like a fragile thread, now stretched taut with Claire's exuberance. Great, Claire squealed, twirling around in the soft glow of festival lights. I need to find a place at the front. I'll catch up with you two later, okay? As Claire disappeared into the crowd, Leela felt a strange mix of relief and annoyance at the interruption. She turned to Alex, who was watching her with a soft smile, clearly amused by Claire's enthusiasm. "Your friend is lively," he said, his blue eyes twinkling. "Yeah, she is," Leela replied, trying to regain her bearings. "She has a way of making everything feel more chaotic." "Chaotic can be good," he suggested, tilting his head slightly. "It adds color to life." "True," she nodded, heart racing at the intensity of his gaze. "But sometimes I like the calm moments too." "Calm moments like this?" He stepped closer, their shoulders nearly brushing, and Leela could feel the familiar warmth pulling in her chest. "Exactly," she whispered, searching his eyes for reassurance, a spark of doubt flickering within her. Did he enjoy her company, or was it just the festival atmosphere fueling their connection? He leaned in slightly, lowering his voice. "So, what's next for you, Leela? More tacos, or are you up for another adventure?" The question hung in the air, and Leela considered it, the thrill of spontaneity beckoning again. "Maybe another adventure. I've already committed to that theme today." "Let us explore the art installations. I saw a few intriguing pieces on the way here," Alex suggested, his enthusiasm infectious. "Art installations it is," Leela agreed, her nerves settling. It felt exhilarating to step into the unknown with him, and the flicker of chemistry between them reignited. As they walked, Leela tried to shake off the lingering doubts in her mind. Alex was charming and genuine, but a nagging voice questioned whether she was enough for a man like him. He was successful, confident, and far more worldly than she felt, and in moments of introspection, the insecurities bubbled up. Would he ever really see her as someone special, or was she simply a fleeting moment in his adventurous weekend? Alex caught her gaze, sensing her drift. "Everything okay?" he asked, genuine concern lacing his tone. "Yes, just thinking," Leela replied, forcing a smile. "It's easy to get lost in all this." "Loss can be good, that's where discoveries happen," he said, shooting her a comforting glance. "What do you want to discover today?" Leela hesitated, caught between her desire to explore and the sudden weight of her insecurities. "I guess I want to discover more about you." His smile deepened, the corners of his eyes crinkling. "I do love that. I mean, I am an open book, though some chapters are definitely more thrilling than others." "Thrilling? Now you have to share some," she challenged, her curiosity piqued. He chuckled, shaking his head playfully. "Okay, but you might regret asking. My last attempt at thrill-seeking ended in a skydiving mishap." "Skydiving? Really?" Leela laughed, picturing him suspended in midair. "What happened?" "I had the wrong parachute." He grinned, and she narrowed her eyes, half convinced he was joking, but the glint in his eye told her he was serious. "Wait, so you jumped out of a plane with the wrong parachute?" "Not as dramatic as it sounds. It was a minor mix-up. It was actually a pretty fantastic experience." "Even with the wrong parachute?" Leela raised an eyebrow, skeptical yet entertained. "I mean, the adrenaline rush alone was worth it," he said, his expression turning serious. "I learned that sometimes you just have to trust the fall, you know?" "Trust the fall," she echoed softly, feeling the weight of those words settle within her. It resonated with her own journey, half daring, half hesitant. "Exactly. Life is too short to play it safe all the time," he said, his voice steady. "What about you? Any thrilling adventures I should know about?" She hesitated, the confession tugging at her heart. "Well, I've never really done anything wildly adventurous," she admitted. "I like art and design, but I've mostly stayed in my comfort zone." "I think art is an adventure in its own right," he replied, genuinely. "But I get it. Comfort zones can feel safer." "Safer, but limiting," she concurred, a hint of longing in her voice. "Sometimes I wish I could just break free." Alex studied her, his expression softening. "Maybe you will. Sometimes it just takes the right moment or the right person." Leela felt her breath hitch, the weight of their conversation deepening the connection lingering between them. Could he truly see her potential beyond the confines of her insecurities? As they reached a small art installation, an elaborate display of painted umbrellas that swayed gently in the breeze, a gust of wind rustled through, setting them to dance. The sight was whimsical and enchanting, and Leela felt a rush of childlike joy. "Look at this, it is beautiful," she exclaimed, stepping closer to the vibrant colors. "Just like you," Alex said, his voice slow yet impactful, causing Leela to glance sideways. "Me?" she stammered, caught off guard. "You were just saying that." "Am I?" He stepped closer, lowering his voice as if sharing a secret. I think you underestimate how captivating you truly are." Her heart raced at his words, every syllable igniting something deep within her. That is a bold statement. True, he admitted, their faces mere inches apart. But I am a bold person. Life is too short for half-hearted compliments. Lila felt her cheeks warm under his gaze, and for a brief moment the world around them faded. The air thickened with unspoken tension, and doubts slipped away, replaced by pulsing anticipation. "Maybe I am just not used to that kind of honesty," she replied, both intrigued and hesitant. "Maybe it is time you embraced it," he said, his blue eyes locking onto hers, the chemistry crackling in the air. Before she could respond, a loud cheer erupted from the nearby stage, pulling Lila back to reality. She blinked, breaking the momentary spell woven between them. "Looks like they're restarting the next set," Alex said, glancing back toward the crowd. "Want to check it out?" "Sure," Lila replied, though her mind still lingered on the intensity of his gaze. As they walked back toward the stage, Lila felt a mix of exhilaration and confusion. She was drawn to Alex, yet the weight of her insecurities lingered in the corners of her mind. What if this was just a fleeting moment, a beautiful illusion crafted by the festival's vibrant atmosphere? Yet, as they reached the thrumming heart of the crowd, laughter and music pulsing through her veins, Lila decided to push the doubts aside. Today was about exploration, adventure, and the promise of something unexpected. "Let us see where this takes us," she said, glancing at Alex. "Exactly," he replied, grinning as they lost themselves in the throbbing rhythm of the festival, both unaware of how deeply they were about to intertwine in each other's stories. As they pushed through the crowd, Lila felt the pulsating bass of the band echoing against her chest. The thrill of the moment surged within her, but the lingering doubts from their earlier conversations still tugged at her mind. "Do you come to festivals often?" Lila asked, attempting to steer the conversation back to lighter waters, fidgeting with the strap of her bag. "Not as much as I'd like," Alex replied, his voice warm amidst the chaos. "Between work and trying to keep my sanity, it is tough to break away." He glanced at her, his expression thoughtful. "What about you? Is this a regular escape for you?" Lila shrugged, the answer swirling in her throat. "Not really. This is only my second festival, actually. It is a bit of a big deal for me." "Second only?" He raised an eyebrow, a teasing smile playing on his lips. "Then you read practically a veteran. You've earned the right to call yourself a festival aficionado." "Hardly," she laughed, the tension loosening as they navigated through the throng of enthusiastic fans. "I am just trying to find my groove." "A groove, huh?" He leaned in closer, the scent of his cologne enveloping her senses. "I think you've got it down pretty well. I do bet you could teach a lesson or two." She felt her cheeks warm at the compliment, a flutter of excitement rushing through her. "You think so?" "Absolutely," he replied, his eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that made her heart race. "Your energy is contagious. I mean, look at you were practically glowing." Lila felt herself blush, a mix of embarrassment and joy flooding her thoughts. "I think it is just the lighting," she said, waving a dismissive hand. "But thanks." As they reached the front of the stage, the crowd erupted into cheers. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation, and Lila felt a thrill of excitement ripple through her. She turned to Alex, their faces mere inches apart, and saw the light reflecting in his eyes. "Ready for this?" he shouted over the music, his voice filled with enthusiasm. "More than ever." Lila shouted back, her heart pounding as they danced to the rhythm. They moved together seamlessly, their bodies in sync as they lost themselves in the music. She caught glimpses of his expression, pure joy, unguarded and genuine. The sound enveloped them, making Lila forget her worries. She couldn't shake the questions that loomed in her mind, but for now, they faded into the background. As the band played, Lila felt a rush of adrenaline. She was finally allowing herself to be free, to let go of the weight of her surroundings. The moment felt suspended in time, a delightful bubble of spontaneity and connection. Suddenly, Alex leaned closer, his breath brushing against her ear. "You're an amazing dancer." His voice was low and teasing, sending shivers down her spine. Lila grinned widely, losing herself in the moment. "Maybe I should consider career change," she shouted back, laughter spilling from her lips. "From graphic designer to professional dancer?" He chuckled, clearly amused. "I can see the headlines now. Local artist shakes up the dance floor." "Now that is a story worth telling," she joked, feeling an exhilarating rush. As the song reached a crescendo, Lila saw Claire bobbing through the crowd, her face lit with excitement. "Lila," she called out, making her way toward them. "You've got to come see this, they're replaying all the classics." Lila felt the moment shift as Claire approached, her presence almost a disruption. "Hey, Leela greeted, trying to maintain her earlier buoyancy. "Hey, Alex, right?" Claire extended her hand, her smile bright but her eyes darting between Leela and Alex, trying to gauge the dynamic. "That's me," he replied smoothly, his gaze unwavering. "And you Claire, Leela's whirlwind friend, I presume?" "That's right," Claire said, her excitement palpable. "I was just telling Leela about the next band. They're really phenomenal live. You two should definitely come with me. We can grab some drinks too." Leela felt a pang of uncertainty wash over her. Did Claire sense the connection she'd shared with Alex? I was actually enjoying this song with Alex," she said, her voice hesitant. "Hey, no worries, we can catch the next one," Claire said quickly, her upbeat nature undeterred. "I just thought it'd be fun to group up." Leela exchanged a glance with Alex, who wore a calm, composed expression, but she felt disappointment gnaw at her. "Maybe just a little longer," she suggested, her eyes pleading with him for understanding. "Sure," Alex responded, shrugging slightly as he turned back to the stage. "I am game if you are, Leela." Just as she felt the warmth of connection return, another wave of uncertainty washed over her. Would he genuinely want to spend time with her, or was he simply indulging her? "You really not worried about hanging out with us?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Why would I be?" he replied, turning to face her fully, his brows furrowing slightly. "You not just my temporary escape, Leela. You someone I genuinely enjoy being around." His words sent a thrill through her, but before she could respond, the band kicked into a faster song and the crowd surged around them, pulling them into a collective movement. "See, everyone is having fun," Claire shouted, her enthusiasm infectious as she grabbed Leela's hand, pulling her into the tide of the crowd. Leela felt a rush of exhilaration but glanced back at Alex, who still maintained that enigmatic smile. She couldn't shake the feeling that something meaningful was slipping through her fingers, the connection they had made just moments ago overshadowed by the energy of the festival. As they danced, Leela tried to focus on the music, but her mind drifted back to Alex. There was a warmth in his gaze that spoke volumes, yet she wondered if their chemistry could withstand the chaos of the festival. Did he see her as more than just a passing interest? "Let us get some drinks," Claire shouted, cutting through her thoughts, her excitement bubbling over. "You two coming?" "Shut up," Leela replied, a bit too eagerly, feeling the urge to keep the momentum going. Deep down, she didn't want to lose the spark with Alex, but Claire's excitement was hard to resist. As they made their way through the crowd, Leela's heart raced, not from the music, but from the tension simmering between her and Alex. The intoxicating energy of the festival had wrapped them into its embrace, but she couldn't shake the doubt lingering in her mind. At the drink booth, Claire chatted animatedly about the festival's schedule, while Leela stole glances at Alex, who appeared unbothered, his demeanor relaxed and easygoing. Yet the nagging sense of inadequacy continued to bubble beneath the surface. "What are you thinking?" Alex asked, leaning closer as they waited for drinks. Leela hesitated, unsure of how to articulate the swelling thoughts in her mind. "Just wondering how long this moment can last," she finally admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Alex tilted his head, his expression softening. "Why does it have to end? We could make it last as long as we want." "Really?" as she probed, her heart fluttering at the possibility. "Of course, but you've got to be willing to take the leap," he said, his eyes locking onto hers, the depth of his gaze stirring something deep within her. "Taking leaps isn't exactly my forte," she replied, a hint of vulnerability slipping through. "Sometimes it just takes the right person to catch you," he murmured, inching closer, his breath warm and enticing. Leela's pulse quickened, her thoughts racing. Did he mean it? Would he be the one to catch her? Just as the moment hung in the air, Claire returned with their drinks, shattering the fragile intimacy they had created. "But your drink, sir," Claire exclaimed, her energy restoring the lively atmosphere. "Let us celebrate." Leela smiled, yet felt the unsteadiness of the moment slipping away. Alex's presence remained a constant warmth beside her, but the connection felt more fragmented now, complicated by the exuberance of Claire's enthusiasm. As they moved back toward the stage, Leela could feel the pulse of the music echoing through her, but her mind was filled with questions. Was Alex truly interested in her, or was this just a fleeting moment in the chaos of the festival? The doubts swelled like the vibrant colors around her, yet she found herself drawn back to him. Maybe today was about embracing the unknown, about dancing on the edge of vulnerability. As they settled into a new spot near the stage, she turned to Alex, ready to take one last leap into the adventure of the day. "Let us see where this takes us," Leela said, a hint of determination in her voice. She felt the warmth of his gaze and hoped that perhaps, just perhaps, This wasn't to the end, but a beautiful beginning. The music swelled around them, filling the air with an intoxicating blend of beats and melodies. Leela stood amidst the vibrant chaos, her heart racing not just from the rhythm, but from the thrill of the moment. As she turned to Alex, she found him smiling, utterly at ease in the midst of this whirlwind. "See, isn't he this amazing?" he shouted over the music, his voice rich with enthusiasm. "Yeah, that's incredible," Leela replied, her heart fluttering at the sight of his excitement. Yet beneath that exhilaration lay a twinge of uncertainty. Was this a temporary high, or was there something deeper brewing between them? As they danced, their bodies moving in sync to the pulsing beat, Leela noticed the way he looked at her like she was the only one in the crowd. Her stomach fluttered with anticipation, and she wondered if he could sense the electricity in the air, too. "Have you ever been to a concert like this before?" she asked, trying to anchor herself in the moment. "Not quite," he said, his eyes sparkling as he swayed to the music. "This is definitely different. I love how everyone is just here to enjoy themselves. Right? It feels liberating." Leela's mind raced with the thought of how often she had felt locked in her routine. This festival was a welcome escape, a brief departure from the mundane. Their laughter echoed through the air, weaving itself into the music. Every brush of their shoulders sent shivers down her spine, intensifying the connection they shared. The world outside their small bubble faded as they lost themselves together, but the doubts still crept in, whispering their insecurities. "Leela?" Claire's voice broke through the haze, pulling her back to reality. "There you are. Come on, we need to make our way to the front." "Just a sec," Leela called back, torn. The energy between her and Alex felt potent, yet Claire's exuberance pulled at her. She turned to Alex. "You don't mind if I catch up with her for a moment, do you?" He shook his head, though there was a flicker of something in his gaze, disappointment, perhaps. "No, go ahead. I'll be right here." Leela felt a pang of guilt as she joined Claire, who was practically buzzing with excitement. "You have to see this," Claire exclaimed, grabbing Leela's hand and tugging her toward the front. "Can't we stay here a little longer?" Leela hesitated, glancing back at Alex, who stood watching with a calm smile. "Oh, come on, you can't pass up this opportunity," Claire insisted, her eyes bright with eagerness. With a resigned sigh, Leela followed her friend through the throngs of dancing bodies. The excitement around her was infectious, but she felt a sense of loss as she stole one last glance back at Alex. He stood there, his expression unreadable, and for a moment, Leela wondered if she had made a mistake. As they reached the front, the energy intensified, the crowd moving like a single entity, swaying and cheering. Leela found herself swept up in a moment, yet Alex's absence left a strange void in her chest. "Isn't he this incredible?" Claire shouted, her voice barely audible over the music. "Yeah, it is," Leela responded, trying to match her friend's enthusiasm, but her mind kept drifting back to the enigmatic stranger she had left behind. Once the song finished, Claire turned back to her, breathing heavily but still buzzing with excitement. "We should grab some drinks, celebrate this moment." Leela nodded, though her heart wasn't entirely in it. "Sure, let us do that." As they maneuvered through the crowd toward the drink station, Leela spotted Alex standing off to the side, his hands casually tucked into his pockets. Relief washed over her as she felt a rush of courage. Maybe she could salvage the moment. "Hey, I'll be right back," Leela called to Claire, waving her off. "Okay, don't take too long," Claire called back, her focus already shifting to the next band. Leela made her way to Alex, feeling the warmth of his presence envelop her as she approached. "Hey, I thought I'd lost you," she said, her voice light, but the undercurrent of tension lingered. "I was just enjoying the view," he replied, his smile genuine but with a hint of something unspoken beneath. "Sorry about that. Claire can be a bit enthusiastic," she admitted, feeling a blush creeping up her cheeks. "No worries," he said, his gaze steady. "I get it. Festivals are about the full experience, right?" "Exactly," she said, trying to shake off her earlier doubts. "I just didn't want to lose our moment." "Are you just saying that, or do you really mean it?" he asked, his tone teasing, yet his eyes searched hers for sincerity. "I mean it," she replied earnestly, feeling the weight of the moment tugging at her heart. "I really enjoyed dancing with you." "Good," he said, a warm smile breaking across his face. "Because I was hoping we could keep that going." "Really?" Leela felt her pulse quicken, the prospect of continuing their connection sending a thrill down her spine. "Definitely," he said, stepping a little closer, the intensity of his gaze sending her stomach into knots. "What do you say we explore some more of this festival together?" "I do love that," she said, feeling a surge of excitement bubbling within her. "Great, let us find something that'll make this memorable," he said, his playful grin lighting up his face. As they wandered through the festival grounds, Leela felt the air thrum with possibilities. Each booth they passed seemed to possess its own magic, and the art installations called out like whispered secrets. "Look at this!" Leela exclaimed, pointing to a stunning mural splash across a canvas tent. The colors danced and merged, creating an illusion of movement that seemed to breathe life into the surrounding chaos. "Impressive, isn't it?" Alex stepped closer, their shoulders brushing again. "It perfectly captures the energy of the festival." Leela nodded, captivated. "Art can express what words often can't. It is fascinating." "You're just like you," he said softly, his eyes locked onto hers. Leela's heart raced at the compliment. "You really know how to make someone feel special." "Only when it is true," he replied, his gaze unwavering. The sincerity in his voice resonated deep within her. As they continued their exploration, Leela began to feel more at ease. Each shared laugh, every tease and glance wove a thread of connection between them. Yet doubt still flickered at the edges of her mind. This was a festival, a fleeting moment in time. "What is your favorite part of the festival so far?" he asked, pulling her from her thoughts. "Honestly, meeting you," she said, surprising herself with her honesty. His expression softened, and the air thickened with unspoken tension. "You read just saying that?" "No, I mean it," she insisted, the sincerity in her voice echoing in the space between them. "I feel like I can be myself with you." "Good," he said, stepping closer until there was barely any space between them. "Because I am really enjoying this too." Just then, Claire appeared again, a drink in hand, and the moment shattered like glass. "There you are," she said, eyes sparkling. "You have to try this lemonade, it is fantastic." "Thanks, Claire," Leela said, forcing a smile as she reclaimed some of her earlier composure. Alex stepped back, his expression unreadable. "All right, what is next on the agenda?" "Let us find a spot to chill and watch the next band," Claire suggested, her energy filling the space. "Sure," Leela replied, keeping her tone light even as she felt the tension settle in her chest. As they walked, Leela's mind raced. Did Alex still feel that connection, or had it faded in the face of Claire's exuberance? Her heart ached at the thought of losing the spark they'd ignited. When they finally settled on a patch of grass, Claire immediately started chatting enthusiastically about the upcoming performances. Leela found herself stealing glances at Alex, who sat beside her, seemingly unbothered by Claire's excited chatter. "Leela," Claire said, drawing her attention back. "You should totally join me in taking a selfie with the band in the background." "Sure," Leela replied, her excitement momentarily pushing aside her insecurities. As Claire snapped photos, Leela couldn't help but sneak a glance at Alex, who watched with a quiet smile. He didn't seem to mind her friend's interruption, but Leela felt the weight of unanswered questions pressing on her heart. "Okay, you read next," Claire said, grinning as she turned the camera toward Alex and Leela. "Say cheese." Together they posed, their smiles bright against the vibrant backdrop, but Leela couldn't shake the feeling that their brief connection was slipping through her fingers like sand.